I am the top actress in the entertainment industry. On my daughter's 7th birthday, my childhood sweetheart exchanged a time machine for $1 billion. He said he regretted it. He wanted to go back 8 years and save Moonlight, not me, his pregnant newlywed wife. So, on this special day, I helplessly watched my daughter, who had been spoiled by me for 7 years, disappear into time, and he, to celebrate Moonlight's death and resurrection, set off fireworks throughout the city. When I opened my eyes again, I was back 8 years ago, just before the flood struck. This time, I kicked Lucas into the water without hesitation. I watched them both swim in the flood, reenacting a Titanic-like love scene. Sophia, I woke up suddenly as if from a big dream. I trembled, placing my hands on my abdomen. Everything around me was so familiar, and I realized I had been reborn to the night before the flood 8 years ago. My daughter, Sophia, was taken away by my husband, Lucas, who I had spent 8 years with, using a time machine worth $1 billion. He said, "Linda, I'm willing to do anything, buy a time machine, as long as he could go back in time." He wanted to bring back Amy, the love of his life. So, Sophia disappeared from my sight. No matter how hard I searched, I couldn't find her, and no one else in the world remembered her either. They only remembered Lucas, the CEO, showering his wife with affection, spending a fortune on fireworks throughout the city, all to win a smile from the top actress, Amy. For 7 days and 7 nights, fireworks filled the sky, but I couldn't find my daughter or seek revenge, only to die with hatred under those dazzling fireworks. Now, I'm back to the eve of the flood. The assistant grumbled a bit, saying, "Linda, you fainted while pregnant, and Lucas is still not coming to see you in Amy's tent." I shook my head, tears uncontrollably falling, feeling a strong sense of excitement in my heart. "Great, Sophia, this time, Mom will definitely protect you." Outside, pouring rain fell heavily, so I immediately grabbed the assistant's hand. "Quickly notify the villagers to evacuate to higher ground. The flood is about to happen. This place will be submerged overnight." 8 years ago, the outbreak of this flood resulted in the deaths of thousands. Since I have been reborn, I will do my best to reduce the loss of those lives. When the assistant was about to leave, I called out to her, "Wait, do not disturb Lucas and Amy. Move everyone to the boat first." Lucas, in the previous life, he regretted deeply. He saved my pregnant newlywed wife in this flood. So, he auctioned off a time machine for $10 billion and ignored Sophia's life. Going back 8 years, he chose to rescue someone else. This time, I want to see how he will survive. This was the first year I married Lucas, and also my most successful year. I was filming in a remote area when Lucas, under the guise of visiting me on set, was secretly having an affair with the supporting actress, Amy. As I rushed to inform everyone to evacuate, I passed by Amy's tent and happened to hear Lucas' low, husky laughter. He was always cold and indifferent when with me. Every time Sophia tried to please Lucas, she was coldly rejected. She was so obedient, always saying, "It's Sophia's fault," making Daddy angry. But this sensible child was ultimately erased from the world by Lucas, and no one remembered her. He regretted not saving Amy, so he used a time machine to go back and change the outcome, resulting in the death of my daughter, Sophia. How could I not hate? How could I not resent? Even bystanders couldn't bear to watch. "Linda, Lucas is too." The director hesitated, looking at me with great sympathy. I suppressed the surging hatred in my heart and forced a smile. "Young people like to play. It's normal. I have more important things to do, and soon Lucas won't be able to laugh." I told the director, "If you trust me now, take the people and hurry to the boat." I have worked with Linda the director many times, so he naturally trusted me. After hearing my words, he quietly moved the crew. The rain was loud, hitting the tent incessantly. Lucas and Amy were watching Titanic in the tent. They were joking around. Not hearing the noise outside was normal. Now, I will not make the same mistake and leave show business for love. I will protect my daughter, Sophia, in my womb and also safeguard my present glory. I worked tirelessly all night. Most of the villagers were evacuated to the boat. The boat was a prop used during filming, but luckily, the director rented a real boat, otherwise, everyone here would have been in danger. As dawn approached, before I left, I looked once again at Amy's tent. They hadn't come out all night. I really looked forward to seeing them come out and witness the desolate scene, deserted and the raging flood. The assistant reminded me appropriately, "Linda, Mr. Lucas seems to still be in Amy's tent. Should we go call them?" The water had reached above the waist, and the flood would break out. I looked at the assistant and said, "You go ahead, I'll go call them." Lives were at stake, and the assistant dare not stay. Calling out to them, I personally lifted a corner of the tent. Even a tent raised high would collapse once a corner was lifted with the floodwaters rushing in. Lucas, Amy, thank me. It was not easy to have such a good opportunity to experience hardships together. By the time I reached the boat, all the seats were taken. Linda, come quickly. The last seat is yours. Yes, the last seat should have been mine. If I hadn't waited for Lucas last in my past life, he wouldn't have had the chance to save me. After boarding the boat, I watched Lucas and Amy hurriedly coming from a distance, at a critical moment, but unfortunately, there was no place for them on the boat. The storm raged downward. The flood in the remote area erupted, mixed with a mixture of mud, water, and garbage. Lucas and Amy drifted in the water, holding each other. Linda, pull us up quickly. I looked down at Lucas' handsome and distressed face from above. He has always been noble and proud, untainted by the world, but now he looks like he has fallen to earth, wretched and pitiful, but not deserving of sympathy. I trembled as I touched my lower abdomen with trembling fingers, restraining my anger, and calmly said, "But there's no room here. How do you expect me to save you?" Amy nestled in his arms like a delicate and pitiful little white flower. Lucas, I'm cold. Amy, don't worry. Linda will definitely save us and get us out of here. Everyone was watching my husband, the magnificent Lucas, holding Amy gently and soothing her. Everyone was as anxious as ants on a hot pan. Finally, someone found the last lifebuoy. Linda, there's a lifebuoy here. You can use it to pull Lucas up. Yes, it was this lifebuoy that made Lucas face a difficult choice back then, leading to a lifelong regret. And now, I'm making him choose again. I handed the lifebuoy to Lucas. Then, I forced a smile and said with regret, "Unfortunately, only one can be saved." Everyone on the ship shouted, "Lucas, hurry and use the lifebuoy. This flood is deadly. Not to mention, it's also to prepare for the upcoming divorce or widowhood." I signaled my assistant to take out the phone and start live streaming. The title was set as Real Life Titanic. Spend 100,000 to buy views. In an instant, the live stream became a trending topic. At this moment, Amy suddenly teared up. Her eyes filled with tears, which fell silently. "Lucas, I love you. I was willing to selflessly give myself to you, but I've been feeling nauseous lately, probably since that time 2 months ago." With these words, Lucas' face suddenly changed. The internet exploded, yet Lucas, below, was still unaware of the live stream. He really started to hesitate. "How can that be? Let me help him." The assistant immediately said, "Hey, Lucas, everyone knows that Amy is your campus crush. Can you bear to let her be swept away by the flood? She's so delicate, tiny, and pitiful, completely dependent on you. People are watching you on the live stream. How can you not save her? Think carefully. Don't do something you'll regret later." The water is rising higher, and the sound of turbulent waves hitting the shore is getting closer. Pure love warrior Lucas, since you like to make choices so much and then morally blackmail me. Now, when only one of you and Amy can survive, let's see how you choose. The number of viewers in the live stream skyrocketed. The whole internet was watching Lucas struggle for survival eagerly, which was even more exciting than a survival show. Under the anticipation of the crowd, a cold, ruthless voice sounded, and everyone on the ship could hear it. "Anyone who dares to jump down and give up their spot will be rewarded 1 million. Lucas, a businessman, was cold and callous to the extreme. He analyzed as if he was negotiating whose life to buy on the business table. 1 million. Enough to make all of you look bright. This amount is astronomical for you all." My expression turned cold in an instant. This was bad. Lucas was going to bargain with lives. His arrogant eyes looked over everyone. Even in this flood, he still exuded the dominance of the upper class and the superiority cultivated since childhood. 1 million. Enough for you to spend a lifetime buying your lives with ease, he said disdainfully. The internet erupted. The people on the ship's eyes lit up, but it also aroused public outrage, with all the live stream viewers cursing Lucas, the capitalist. Lucas didn't care about the lives of the people on the ship. 1 million for a life was too much, even for body parts to sell. I hate the face of capitalists. They are arrogant and bossy, just like my boss. Most of the villagers on the ship were restless. Even some villagers with good swimming skills had taken off their coats and were ready to jump to make money. I glanced lightly at the assistant. The assistant immediately stopped them. "Wait, ISNT your life as precious. You may make money, but won't have the life to spend it. And besides, can we trust his words without proof? Without even giving the 1 million? Are you so eager to sacrifice your life for him? If there's no evidence, it will be all on you when the time comes. At that moment, a lightning struck across the sky with a deafening rumble. Everyone fell silent for a moment. The joy disappeared from Lucas' face instantly. In desperation, he raised the amount of money again. 5 million. 5 million for 2 seats. As long as someone is willing to jump, the 5 million will be in your account immediately. At this moment, Lucas couldn't help but panic. Despite everything, he kept holding Amy tightly, his affection clearly visible. Unfortunately, no one believed his words anymore. Many villagers were shallow-minded, and 1 million was already an astronomical figure for them. 5 million was even something they wouldn't dare to dream of. The bigger the hype, the less likely anyone believed it, and the crew members completely understood Lucas' character. At the critical moment of life and death, who would really dare to take the plunge? Thus, everyone touched their noses, scratched their heads, and sat down obediently. Lucas, don't waste your efforts. Money can't replace lives. Right? Yeah, the waves are so strong now. Who dares to go down? Lucas' face grew paler, and his expression became extremely gloomy. However, at this critical moment, the lifebuoy in his hand was suddenly snatched away. Amy disregarded everything and put the lifebuoy on herself. Amy, you? Lucas' pupils contracted as a cold expression of surprise appeared on his face, gradually turning into pain. He hoarsely questioned, Amy, why would you do this? Obviously, it's to save my life. I suppressed a smile, feeling secretly pleased. Lucas, being betrayed by the moonlight must feel terrible. Right, Lucas? I'm sorry. I did this for the sake of our child. I want to live. Amy's shoulders trembled as she spoke passionately. The fortune teller said, I would only have sons in this lifetime. No daughters. If I hadn't conceived our son, I'd rather die than not give you the lifebuoy. But now I have a child. I have 2 lives on me. Lucas, this is our son. Hearing Amy's words, Lucas was momentarily speechless. He certainly didn't want to die, but with his family's expectation to inherit the throne, his preference for sons over daughters, and his dislike for Sophia being a daughter in the past, he pressured the staff again with his identity as one of the investors, but it was no use. The crew valued their lives. Lucas, pushed to the brink, cast a dangerous gaze towards me. Linda, you wouldn't want to watch me die, right? You'll save me, right? I shrugged, a look of regret on my face. But I can't save you. Lucas gritted his teeth, his eyes intense. No, you have a way to save me. His tone was certain and chilling. My heart sank as I stared back at him coldly. I heard you say, you come down, and I'll go up. Lucas' tone was demanding, sending chills down my spine. Did he really think I liked him enough to sacrifice myself for him? I still had scores from our past lives to settle. Lucas, I've given you face, right? Who gave you the confidence to think I would go down for you? Lucas' face changed abruptly. He stared at me in astonishment, speaking expressionlessly. If I hadn't come to visit you, none of this would have happened. In the end, it's still related to you. If something happens to me, you won't get away unscathed. I once viewed Lucas through rose-tinted glasses. He was my childhood friend, a companion, family, and lover. But stripping away those filters, Lucas was just Lucas, a person without any halo. Is that so? Did I make you sneak into Amy's tent? I exposed. Everyone knows you often stay out all night and have deep conversations with Amy about life. With a smirk, I added, the lifebuoy was already given to you. It's your own incompetence that lost it. What can I do about it? Your sentiments should go to the king of the underworld. The online audience in the live stream room was stunned. Seeing the barrage of messages scrolling rapidly, I felt relieved and comfortable. After all my refusals, Lucas redirected his focus to Amy. There was only one lifebuoy. Only one of them could survive. With the flood raging, the people on board refused to come down, and there was only one lifebuoy left. Lucas' complex expression surveyed Amy, his fists clenched in frustration. Lucas, Amy's eyes welled up with tears, panic and helplessness evident in her words. Lucas, I feel like we're losing our child. He might not make it. Lucas, don't you want him to live? A child was the only thing that could touch Lucas' emotions. Little did he know, I also carried his flesh and blood in my womb. But this daughter was mine alone, with no connection to him. An assistant couldn't help but whisper to me, Linda, Amy is not like this at all. Lucas can never outsmart her. I smiled knowingly. Who didn't know the gossip in the circle? Amy was known for charming men, wealthy, good-looking, and well-built as long as she had one aspect. She was willing to be with them. She navigated freely among men, with them all falling into her palms. Lucas was one of them. The child was just a lever for Amy to survive. But perhaps due to the strong influence of the moonlight, Lucas firmly believed the child was his. Thus, he made the decision to brave the waters alone. Watching his figure disappear into the distance, I squinted. Lucas, you better not die this time. I want to see whose child that pure moonlight belly of yours is carrying. Most people survived in the flood. As the waters receded, a widespread search was conducted for Lucas, dead or alive. After a whole day of searching, Lucas' whereabouts were finally discovered. He seemed to know how to swim, so he still had a chance. After being rescued by the hospital, Lucas spent 3 days and nights in the ICU. I never went to see Lucas, completely engrossed in filming. It wasn't until I heard that Lucas miraculously survived that I remembered I needed to hurry up and get a divorce from him. Arriving at the door of the ward, I heard Amy's crying. Lucas, you're awake. You have no idea how worried I've been about you. I've been terrified these days. I didn't mean to take the lifebuoy, it was all for our son. Lucas, will you forgive me, please? I looked up to see Lucas' ailing face displaying deep affection. He held Amy's hands, softly reassuring. Amy, I've never blamed you. You're a mother, and I understand your desire to protect our son. Lucas, you have no idea how unreasonable Linda was. She actually live-streamed the incident that day, and both of us were targeted by ignorant keyboard warriors. Suddenly sitting up in bed in shock, face as white as a sheet, Lucas croaked. What? He rubbed his forehead, eyes full of shock. Linda dared to do a live broadcast on site. Is she crazy? Doesn't she know how much impact this will have on the company? Hilarious. Does Lucas not know that his company's stock has been plummeting? I pushed the door open and glanced at the man, tired and sickly. I'm not crazy. It's the company's PR department that's crazy. After all, Lucas' personal image is beyond salvage this time. During this period, the news of Lucas buying lives with money has been a hot topic on the internet. A cold and ruthless chill appeared in his eyes. Linda, what benefit do you get from this? Are you purposely letting people die to see Amy and me drift in the flood? At this moment, Lucas' mother suddenly burst in. Lucas, how can you look at Linda like that? Don't you think all of this is your fault? And Miss Amy, Lucas, you better cut ties with her and apologize to Linda. Lucas' mother, Mary, quickly gave him a signal with her eyes, indicating he should yield to me first. Don't think I don't know. In the past life, Mary and Lucas loved to play this game in front of me and Sophia. One played the tough one, the other played the gentle one, and devoured my family's wealth. However, Lucas insisted on holding Amy's hand firmly, with a firm and steady tone. Mom, Amy is carrying my child now. She's carrying the grandson you've always wanted. I want to give her a home. Those words hit my heart heavily. I'm not angry, just endlessly sad for Sophia. In the past life, Sophia tried her best to please Lucas' family, but they never paid much attention because she was a daughter, and Lucas never thought about giving Sophia a harmonious and happy family. To establish himself as a good father figure, I reached into my bag and took out the divorce agreement, placing it in front of him. Perfect then, we're getting a divorce. Mary was suddenly furious, trembling as she said, Lucas, I think you've gone mad. Did the flood wash your brain away? You want to give her a home, but what about Linda? She turned her eyes and then turned to me and said, don't worry, Linda, Mom will handle things for you. It's fine that you're letting people die. Mom won't blame you, but divorce, that's not necessary, right? Lucas quickly showed a hint of astonishment in his eyes, looked at the divorce agreement for a full half-second before reacting. Fine, I agree to the divorce. Mary couldn't hold it back anymore and exclaimed, Lucas and I had a business marriage. We hadn't been married for a year. In the beginning, my dad saw how much I liked Lucas, willing to help his family overcome difficulties. Finally, he was able to restore Lucas' family's failing company to normal operation. But once we got divorced, my family would withdraw their shares and funding. At that point, it's anyone's guess what would happen to Lucas' company. Despite Mary's scolding, Lucas signed the divorce agreement expressionlessly. Before leaving, I heard him say decisively, what if the company leaves Mary's family? My child can't leave me. Amy is the woman I truly want to marry. I'm willing to give up everything for her and the child. After a smooth divorce, I focused more on shooting. The filming of this movie was coming to an end, and leading actor Jack came to make a cameo appearance. During the filming, Jack and Amy often flirted. The whole crew knew that there was something special between them. Some even saw Amy and Jack hugging and kissing. I pretended not to see. What do I care about my ex-husband's affairs? The one who was kept in the dark was the pure love war god Lucas. In the past life, I only found out after marriage that Amy was his unrequited love from his college days. So I never understood why, when he clearly fell in love with Amy at first sight, he didn't tell me and hurriedly married me right after graduation. My fingers rested on my belly. This life, my Sophia is living healthy and strong. After she's born, I don't plan to tell Lucas. He doesn't deserve to be Sophia's father, in any sense. One day, during a break at the film set, I saw Lucas getting out of his car. He walked towards me, looking as refreshing as a spring breeze, with a slight smile on his lips, showing his good mood at the moment. Today was the end of the movie shoot. What did Lucas want now? Then, he walked up to me on purpose and said, I want to propose to Amy. She's carrying my biological son. She's due in a few months. I have to give her a proper status. I can't let my son become a bastard. I couldn't help but chuckle. The whole crew was present today. I wished him a successful proposal. Amy was pure and innocent, gentle and virtuous, a good girl. His stern eyes softened instantly, brimming with tenderness when Amy was mentioned. Then, he looked at me and his expression suddenly changed. Linda, you need to change your attitude, or no man will want you. My smile froze at his words, staring expressionless at Lucas. Why should I have to be wanted by a man? Isn't it their honor to be close to me? I raised an eyebrow, retorting, also, you don't really think the child in Amy's womb is yours, do you? At his words, Lucas' face changed, his expression turning cold instantly. Linda, watch your words. Of course, the child in her womb is mine. Since he was so insistent, I was ready to get my popcorn and watch the show. Lucas walked away in large strides, clearly displeased. He deliberately concealed the truth from Amy, and since arriving at the set, he never showed up again. His assistant gave me a video, as if they had discovered a monumental secret. Sophia, I accidentally saw. She whispered a few words in my ear. I raised an eyebrow and smiled at the assistant. The last scene wasn't filmed until late at night. To celebrate the end of the shoot, the director bought a large quantity of fireworks to set off in celebration. Under the fireworks-filled sky, Lucas slowly approached. He walked towards Amy, each step firm. In the dazzling fireworks, he got down on one knee, took out $1 million ring, and proposed. Amy, I didn't know how to please you before, always making you angry, but now I've learned to love. I want to give you a home, give our child a home. The whole crowd fell silent. They all knew about Amy and Jack's relationship, and it was hard to digest such a complicated love triangle. Amy was at a loss, and Jack seemed more like a spectator. Lucas, firm in every word. Amy, will you marry me? Amy remained silent, occasionally glancing at Jack. As the long silence continued, Lucas grew increasingly anxious. In the tense atmosphere, suddenly the screen behind him lit up, the glaring light catching everyone's attention. A video started playing on the screen, with Amy's voice coming through. Jack, I'm pregnant with your child. You'll love me, right? The whole place was shocked. Lucas' look of joy quickly turned cold as ice. He swiftly turned around to see Amy and Jack embracing on the screen. In that moment, his expression became unstable, unbelievable, utterly crushed. In the video, Amy leaned on Jack dependently. The sight of their affection felt like an invisible slap harshly landing on Lucas' face. But the worst was yet to come. Jack sneered, whose child is in your belly? Of course, it's yours. This child is already 3 months old. If it's not yours, then whose could it be? Remember when the flood happened? I had to lie to that idiot and say the child was his so he would save me. I almost burst out laughing. It seems only Lucas was hurt in this world. With eyes burning red, Lucas showed a glimpse of sorrow in his gaze. Amy, so, you've been lying to me all along. This child isn't mine. Amy's eyes turned red, tears slowly falling. A pitiful sight. Lucas, I truly love you. I was just playing around with them. Laughable. Who would believe such words? Amy was now desperately trying to please Lucas, while Playboy Jack remained indifferent. With the proposal failure and the incident with the green meadow on his head exposed, the world didn't know who did it. After cheating during his marriage and then being cuckolded after the divorce, Lucas' affairs were now all over the internet. The negative news about him directly affected the company's image. With the public opinion raging, the company's stock plummeted, and Lucas became the butt of internet jokes. He rejected the top-tier Queen Linda, only to fall for a seaweed like Amy. With the scandal brewing, it was hard to calm the storm once it started. In just a month, Lucas' company had suffered unprecedented damage. Now, I wanted to see how long Lucas could hold on without Mary's family and me. A month later, as I finished an outdoor shoot and returned home, I met Lucas standing at the door. He looked at me, his voice trembling slightly. "Linda, can you help me now?" Clearly exhausted, Lucas showed signs of fatigue. I looked at him expressionlessly and asked coldly, "Help you with what? The company's stocks have plummeted, and it may face even more serious issues soon. Linda, you're the only one who can help me now." I smiled sarcastically. "Lucas, you can ask Amy for help. I'm sure she'd be happy to assist. Only thinking of me when he's desperate." Back in the day, he was willing to give his heart to Amy for fame and fortune. Mentioning Amy, Lucas' face instantly changed. He bit his lip, trying to contain his impatience, and calmly said, "Linda, you know Amy can't help me. Only your family business can assist me now, even if it means merging our companies. It's up to you." It seemed that Lucas' family company was in dire straits. Otherwise, he wouldn't come to me, dropping his high and mighty demeanor, asking for such a favor. But I didn't want to take on a sinking ship. "No, I'm not interested. I find it dirty." With those words, Lucas' pupils shrank, and evident anger appeared on his handsome face. "What do you mean?" "Literally, not a dirty company, but a dirty person. If I helped him, I'd be tangled with him endlessly for the rest of my life. Instead, I'd rather make my own success. And why should I inherit a failing business when my family's industry is thriving?" That day onwards, I never saw Lucas again. My career flourished, and Sophia in my womb grew healthily, her presence becoming more apparent. I didn't want too much media exposure on my personal life, but I was still caught by paparazzi when I went out. Now, news about my pregnancy surged to the top of the trending topics. Everyone was speculating if I would reconcile with Lucas because of the child. This news quickly reached Lucas' ears. I encountered Lucas at an event, where he was busy networking with former business partners and seeking funding. He had now cast aside his dignity, even accepting rejection calmly. But this humbler version of him was a far cry from the one everyone used to bend to. Our eyes met. As I turned to leave, Lucas hurriedly caught up and blocked my path. Linda, you're pregnant, right? It's my child. Isn't it?" I squinted, looking calmly at his expectant eyes. He had never anticipated Sophia's birth in the past life. That day, when I went into labor, Lucas was in a meeting at the office. The birth was complicated, and I suffered severe bleeding on the operating table, a near-death experience. But Sophia was born. After giving birth, as a husband and a father, he showed no concern for us. That's why I now felt his current display to be insincere. "Linda, I know it's my child. For the child's sake, forgive me this time, won't you?" With a scoff, I couldn't suppress the surge of hatred in my heart. Unable to endure any longer, I slapped Lucas across the face. A crisp slap. The sound drew the attention of the people at the event. Lucas turned his face, his fierce and cold eyes locked onto me, a wave of anger rushing through him as he lowered his voice. "Linda, was I wrong in what I said? The child is mine. What's wrong with enduring it for the child? I'll treat you well from now on. Why should I endure it? Lucas, you tell me, why should I endure it?" I lifted my shoulders, with a slight smile on my lips, and said casually, "I have money and a career. After the child is born, I can give her the best life. She will be pampered by everyone as a princess. Why do I have to compromise in front of you? You think too highly of yourself. After the child is born, you have nothing to do with her. I can be both her mother and father." As Lucas was humiliated, he remained silent for a while, clenching his fists tightly. As I passed by him, I whispered, "Forgot to tell you, she can only be my daughter, not yours." After Sophia was born, she was no longer the Sophia of the past, who was not expected by her father. She became my precious Sophia. Lucas' face looked especially embarrassed. It was even more embarrassing than giving him a slap. But I liked seeing him like that. The more disheveled and miserable he looked, the more I enjoyed it. Since my movie was released in theaters, it has become a big hit online. My acting skills have been recognized by the public, and there have been continuous positive reviews online. "Linda is so beautiful, has a great figure, and excellent acting skills. Love her, leaving a man behind, and you become super powerful. Isn't that right, sister?" But Linda, who was previously love-struck, Will she remarry Lucas because of the child? I don't know who spread the news about me remarrying Lucas. The internet is discussing everything about me. During a promotional event for the movie, reporters asked me, will you remarry Lucas? Facing the camera, I said very calmly, I never had the thought of remarrying. The child is the child. I am me. Here, I want to tell all the female fans, even if you are pregnant, don't lose yourself. I said this, mainly for myself to hear. I feel regretful for the past me who left the entertainment industry for love. A few months later, I heard the news about Lucas' bankruptcy. Lucas going bankrupt was within my expectations. Once the assets of the Liu family were detached from the funds of the Lin family, it was difficult to sustain, and cutting losses in time was the best result. But I never expected Lucas to struggle this long. He also got entangled in an economic dispute lawsuit, owed a large amount of foreign debt, and couldn't pay it off. Therefore, he was taken to court. The headquarters building of Lucas' company was already in court for auction. To prevent a production hemorrhage, I had suspended all activities. I stayed at home every day to take care of myself, looking forward to Sophia's birth. At the same time, I had my assistant keep an eye on the auction proceedings, until I successfully acquired the headquarters building of his company. As soon as I arrived at the company, I saw Lucas being taken away by the police. Linda, are you here to save me? I took off my sunglasses and looked at Lucas, who was about to get into the police car. Linda, it's this building. The person next to him respectfully invited me to enter. I glanced at Lucas and smirked. The company's legal person is me. Lucas' expression changed abruptly. His eyes filled with complicated and hateful emotions. You have money, but you are not willing to save me. Linda, do you hate me that much? Hate? Of course, I hate you. Letting you live in prison for your whole life is already a gift to you. I wish you were dead. If there weren't legal constraints, I would definitely find someone to kill Lucas, so that my precious Sophia wouldn't have a wolf of a father, and she wouldn't be bullied anymore. With Lucas imprisoned for an economic dispute, I established my own company. Not only that, I even received a nomination for Best Actress. One day, the members of our movie crew sat together. I happened to be sitting next to Amy. When I received the award for Best Actress at the Golden Horse Awards, I caught a glimpse of envy from Amy's eyes. Despite her efforts to hide it, I noticed. Congratulations, Linda, you are successful in your career now, and your child is about to be born. I smiled and whispered, thank you, but what about your child? Amy's child had a miscarriage, and Jack didn't want to take responsibility. The management company also wouldn't allow her to easily have a child, so Amy had to terminate the pregnancy first. Later, I went to the stage to receive the award. This was my dream. Previously, it was a regret, but now it was fulfilled. I felt lucky to exist in this world, not just a dreamlike existence. This award was a witness to Sophia's presence in my life. She would always be by my side. On the day of her birth, I was excited and looking forward to it. Under my preemptive protection, I avoided the postpartum hemorrhage situation from my previous life. I successfully gave birth to Sophia, who was cute and lovely, exactly like in my past life. Sophia turned out to be surprisingly smart as she learned to speak before she was 1 year old. When she called out Mom for the first time, my heart swelled with joy and excitement. My tears kept flowing. The joy of regaining what was lost was beyond comprehension. I spoiled Sophia as I held her in the palm of my hand. She became the darling of the company and the most important person in my life. Some rejoice, some worry. In the same year that Sophia was born, Amy offended a big shot in the entertainment industry. Her acting skills were already questionable, and it was said that she had rearranged the seating arrangements at an event and offended someone she shouldn't have. Since then, Amy was blacklisted by the entertainment industry, never attended an event, and only appeared on TV screens. She was forgotten by the fast-paced world, as if she had never existed. Time flew, and soon it was Sophia's 7th birthday. I held a lavish birthday banquet for her at the most luxurious 5-star hotel in the city center. At this moment, she stood in front of a 70th cake, closed her eyes, and blew out the candles. A smile appeared on her innocent little face, with dimples so adorable. Mom is not just my mom, but also my dad. She is Sophia's favorite person in the world. Since Sophia can remember, she has never sought a father figure, because she has had enough love from me. Enough in her memories. The candlelight reflected on her lovely face. Tears welled up in my eyes as she choked out, "I want to be with Mom forever." My heart brimmed with emotion, and I hugged her tightly. "Sophia, would you like Mom to sing to you?" Sophia kissed my cheek and nodded with a smile. Holding a microphone, I stood on the banquet stage and gave her a special birthday gift. I sang 7 songs full of childlike innocence, the notes dancing in the air, conveying my endless blessings for my daughter, and silently praying in my heart, wishing my Sophia a lifetime of peace, joy, and worry-free happiness.